Hello, my name is Jason Lowry.
And I'm Mark Tody.
And this is the Parkland Podcast. Here we are, episode 51.
51.
And I figured it out. This is a full year that we've done this now.
This makes a full year, right?
And the reason why it's not 52, because my son and I had a long conversation about this. My son James, who's very, very, things are black and white. This is because we had that best of episode back in December. That's why the numbers don't add up right. He figured that out. Very proud of you, James. Good job.
I'll work with that.
Yeah. Coming up for episode 51, we have a great show for you. We'll continue to get you ready for Country Days. We'll have Kristen Benscoter from First State Community Bank to tell us about all the fun things they do to get involved with Country Days. And then we're going to talk to the retiring director of the UniTec Career Center, Jeff Cauley, will be our guest. And he is definitely and similar to Greg Camp in the fact that he will talk a lot, and yes. I think it will be very entertaining. So looking forward to that. Plenty of news, events, sports, all coming your way on the Parkland Podcast. Want to thank our sponsors, Parkland Pharmacy, Discover Farmington, Subway of the Parkland, First State Community Bank, Save-A-Lot of the Lead Belt, Heimberger Construction, and the Farmington Regional Chamber of Commerce. We will be broadcasting Friday evening from the Country Days Parade. We're going to be set up right by Taylor Funeral Home. I'm sorry, Boyer's Funeral Home and the Taylor Funeral Home Chapel in downtown Farmington. And our broadcast this year brought to you by Triple Creek Realty.
Yes.
Valor Wellness Clinic, Black Knight Automotive, First State Community Bank, and Boyer Funeral Homes. What did you do this week, Mark Tody?
Oh, goodness. Had a big United Way meeting on Tuesday. It looks like they're stuck with me for another year as president of the local United Way chapter, but that's all right.
Nobody wanted it, did they?
We have a great executive director. She makes my job really easy.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Suzanne Baker. And other than that, I had dinner Friday night with a lot of friends at Pasta House in Farmington.
Always a good time at Pasta House.
Oh, my goodness. They have a half free publicity for Nancy Sylvie because she is a host of the show every now and then. But they do a thing where they have half-price pastas between 3 and 5 o'clock. So I had some muscatoli with meatballs. And their meatballs, if you've never had them before, are about yay big.
Yeah, they're big.
It's a full delicious meal, and it's only like $8.50.
Wow, can't beat that.
Yes. Then they threw in a salad. Their wonderful Pasta House salad, $15 for a Pasta House meal.
Not bad at all.
Great deal.
Very, very good. Well, I have to say that I have probably
barfed
been
a lot.
The sickest I have ever been in my adult life. It has swept right through the Lowry household Sunday afternoon.
So I'm staying far away.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, Sunday afternoon, got home from church, and Jonas was like, I don't feel good, Dad. And then he was out of it, puke and everything else, both ends, so to speak. He had it from Sunday until Tuesday morning. Right on cue, Tuesday afternoon, James gets it. He has it from Tuesday till about Thursday. Thursday evening,
Lucy,
during our first softball game with the Comets, Lucy goes, I don't feel good, Dad. So Kayla takes her home. I stay and finish coaching the game. And as soon as she gets home, she gets sick. And then Friday morning, we'd planned on recording the podcast on Friday, so we get a full weekend in now that school's over. And I had to call everybody and say, guys, I can't do this because I cannot move. It was horribly debilitating, and I don't feel great right now. This morning, I woke up at 4:30, basically because I slept on and off for the previous 24 hours. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to start making my way to the barn because it's going to take me that long to get there. But here we are. We've made it, and hopefully I'm not going to get sick again, at least for a while.
At least not for the next couple of hours while we're recording.
Yeah, no kidding. We'll see. Again, if the episode's a little funky, you'll know why. I got too sick. I forgot to ask, but do you have any music trivia or any kind of trivia whatsoever for our show?
In honor of Country Days, I've got Country Days trivia
wow.
for you.
Country Days trivia.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What year was Dolly Parton at Farmington Country Days.
Gosh, 1987?
Not even close.
Not even close?
1992.
92? Oh, my gosh, I was in high school when that happened?
92. Wow. All right. What year did Country Days host anvil shooting?
Oh, boy.
And that's my totally awesome radio story.
Oh, great. Yeah. Let's see. I was at B104 when this happened because we were broadcasting when I think there was an accident.
Well, that's the story.
That's the story. So I'm going to say that was 2010.
Close. 2011.
Oh, you're off. Okay.
All right. The next one. What year was Mark Toady Mr. Country Days?
Ooh, you and the lovely Peggy Lake were
the most lovely Peggy Lake.
Country Days. Golly, I'm going to say you were 2014?
2005.
Oh my gosh, it was back then?
Oh, yes, it's been 20 years.
Dang.
All right, next one.
Okay.
Which one of the Mandrell sisters appeared at Country Days?
Oh my gosh. I'm going to go with the only one I can think of off the top of my head, and that's Barbara.
It's Louise.
Louise Mandrell.
There's another.
There's three of them?
No, there's three. Yeah, there's Earlene, Louise, and Barbara.
Okay.
And let's see. Charlie Daniels. Marty Stewart.
Yes.
Aaron Tippin. The Bellamy Brothers. All were at Country Days. One of those performed 2 different times.
Give me those options again.
2 different years.
Yeah. It wasn't
Charlie Daniels, Marty Stewart, Aaron Tippin, the Bellamy Brothers.
Tippin was twice?
Tippin was twice.
Okay. Whew, got one of them.
All right. And finally,
okay,
this country music superstar appeared at Country Days with a band called The Ranch.
The Ranch? Ooh. And now they're a famous country artist?
He's as big can be.
As big can be. Oh, my. The Ranch. Okay, so this would have had to have been pre-me being in radio, because I don't remember The Ranch. Gosh, I don't know. George Strait.
Not that big.
Okay.
But almost. Keith Urban.
That's a big-time country music star, and he was with The Ranch.
Yeah, all 4 guys in the group had shaved heads at the time.
Really?
Yes, it was pretty cool.
Was, what's her name with him?
No, it was pre-Nicole.
Pre-Nicole.
Trust me.
You would have talked about that in a totally awesome radio story about every week if that were the case.
Well, that's my totally awesome radio story for today. One of them was when Louise Mandrell was at Country Days in Farmington. She was the best looking of the Mandrell girls.
Really? Okay.
And she was wearing a short black mini skirt. And I was backstage with her, talking with her for a few minutes before she went on stage. And as she went on stage, well, let's just say the view was pretty good.
Yeah?
That's all I've got to say about that.
And which Louise Mandrell?
Louise Mandrell. She was the Louise. Yeah, that was Louise. Earlene was the drummer, and Barbara sang, and so did Louise. Yes, and she had a couple of hit songs. She did some hits with Mickey Gilley. But going back to the anvil shoot.
Okay.
The dude, one of the guys doing the anvil shoot, actually blew his thumb off.
Right.
As a part of Country Days,
and that was not scripted.
No, he was trying to.
Blow my thumb off.
Well, he was trying to light his anvil. It wasn't lighting properly, so he used a cigar, which was a big no-no. And it went off, and it blew his thumb off. So I started this joke at our follow-up meetings for Country Days, and we said, "How was Country Days this year?" And remember, this guy blew his thumb off, and I would go,
one thumb up.
Either people thought it was really funny or really disturbing. But yeah, those are the totally awesome stories.
That is crazy.
Nothing as awesome as Louise Mandrell, though.
Yeah, no kidding. And I mean, you've already talked about Dolly Parton coming to Country Days. That has been several of the totally awesome radio stories you did. Of course, Charlie Daniels, when you two got to play golf together. We've learned that one of the Country Days performers was not very nice.
Yeah, that was Sammy Kershaw.
Sammy Kershaw.
He was a jerk.
Otherwise, it seems to me, and I mean, you can speak to this more directly because you've been there for all of them. Everybody else has been pretty nice.
Everybody's been pretty nice. I wasn't around for the Sawyer Brown concert, but rumor has it they were at a restaurant eating and they got into a food fight at the restaurant.
Oh, really?
So that
PRI, was that where it happened?
No, it was at a place called Anderson's.
Anderson's.
Yes.
Classy joint.
Yes. So they apparently got into a food fight there, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then there was another band, I cannot remember the name of it, that, they got into an argument with the stage crew that was setting things up, and there was almost fisticuffs.
Oh, boy.
On that one. And then there was the time Waylon Jennings was in concert, and Kent Sisson. Oh, well, I told that story when Kent
Kent told it when he was here.
Yeah, circumcision. yeah. Great stuff. Great memories of Country Days.
Very cool. How many Country Days have you done now?
Going back to the late 80s.
Yeah.
So a lot of them.
A lot of Country Days, and you'll, again, see Mark and I as we hang out with you at this year's Farmington Country Days 2025, telling more and creating more totally awesome radio stories. First State Community Bank, the 3 Farmington locations that serve us well: online banking, business banking, FSCB.com, member FDIC. I stole all the bullet points, Mark, but I know you love to talk about all the great people that work there.
It's the people that make the difference. There are a lot of banks, and they all do great work around here. But First State Community Bank, their community involvement really makes them stand out to me. You will not go to a community event without not seeing just one, but multiple people from First State Community Bank, not just there, but involved. They care about this community. They go to school here. They go to church here. They do business with people in the community. You
like
cannot
the Parkland
go wrong.
Podcast.
Yeah, like the Parkland Podcast. You cannot go wrong with First State Community Bank. They are so much more than member FDIC. I love going there.
Absolutely. First State Community Bank sponsoring the Parkland Podcast. We're going to be stepping back in time this year for Country Days 2025, June 6th, 7th, and 8th in downtown Farmington. Mark, you've been involved with Country Days for a long, long time, and there are many events that you hold near and dear to your heart.
Oh, very much so, including one of my all-time favorites, the First State Community Bank hot dog stand on Friday. It's like a homecoming because you'll see so many people you might not see every day or every week or even every month. I know it's always great for me to get together with my good friend, Miss Mandy, and we have a hot dog together, and we talk about the past year, and it's always a lot of fun. But then the parade is on Friday. They've got all kinds of great music on Friday. I remember being a part of the very first Little Caesars Moonlight Bike Ride.
Oh, yeah.
And that's always a lot of fun. So and that's just Friday. And then you've got events throughout the day. On Saturday, great music. The headliner, Caleb Austin. Oh, my gosh, this guy is huge. He's going to be one of the next big stars, but he's one of about 8, 9, 10 different acts that'll be hitting the stage at one or two different stages for Country Days on Saturday.
Yeah, you also see Hunter Hathcote, the Route 67 Band, Vinyl Revolution, Noah Meesey, Tom Norton, and so much more. And then Sunday, you got all the family events, the all-you-can-ride wristbands. I mean, it's a full weekend.
Lots of food, come hungry, lots of drinks, no reason to be thirsty.
Yeah.
Definitely check out the Hornet's Nest for some great kebabs. And don't forget to get your advanced ride tickets.
Yeah, you can get those at First State Community Bank, Belgrade State Bank, Ozarks Federal Savings and Loan, New Era Bank, Unico Bank, and Plumbers Ace Hardware in downtown Farmington. Country Days 2025, FarmingtonCountryDays.com, and the
Eat, Shop, Play in the Parkland.
Download that app today. Farmington Country Days, sponsoring the Parkland Podcast. Here are your news stories this week on the Parkland Podcast.
The Jefferson County prosecuting attorney is still investigating the death of a nonverbal 3-year-old at a Park Hills daycare. Conrad Ashcraft's parents have independently filed lawsuits against the daycare Poppy's Playhouse, claiming that their son was wrapped in a weighted blanket, trapping his arms and covering his face.
The lawsuit said a staff member put their legs on Conrad to restrain him in a forced nap, then left him in the hallway. The letter from the state said Conrad was put on his stomach with his arms trapped in his tucked blanket, as well as covered with an additional 18-pound weighted blanket. The letter added the provider was rubbing his back and had their legs draped across him.
From there, it claims the provider never checked on him again because she believed he was sleeping. It also said none of the staff checked on Ashcraft until his mom arrived. The lawsuit states Conrad suffocated and was left for hours.
In a press release issued by the St. Francis County Sheriff's Office this past Friday, Jeff Kreitz said that all information has been turned over to the Jefferson County Prosecuting Attorney's Office and that the investigation is still open and active. It is important to note that the Sheriff's Department does not file charges. Any decisions regarding criminal prosecution will be made by the Prosecuting Attorney's Office upon completion of the review process.
State lawmakers are back in Jefferson City for a special session. Items on the agenda include tax incentives to keep the Kansas City Chiefs and Royals in Missouri, assistance for tornado and severe storm victims, and numerous infrastructure projects that House leaders killed off just before the final week of the session.
The tax incentives for building or renovating stadiums are also time-sensitive for the Chiefs, as they've stated they will announce by June 30th whether the team will stay in Missouri or move to Kansas. Missouri's neighbor to the west is offering bonds that will pay up to 70% of building new stadiums for both teams if they agree to leave Missouri. Governor Mike Kehoe wants the House and Senate to pass legislation that would give income tax deductions of up to $5,000 to homeowners and renters whose homes were destroyed or heavily damaged by the spring storms.
Lawmakers will also decide the fate of a mental hospital in Kansas City, a crime lab in Cape Girardeau, and $25 million for a nuclear reactor for cancer research at the University of Missouri. The state is currently banning abortions except in cases of medical emergency. This follows a Missouri Supreme Court order that temporarily blocked a constitutional amendment protecting abortion rights. The state's trigger law, which bans abortions except to save the life of a pregnant person, went into effect following the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. A 2024 constitutional amendment, however, aimed to protect abortion access, but is currently being challenged. Another statewide abortion could be on the ballot in 2026. The St. Francis County Sheriff's Department is also announcing the arrest of a wanted felon, Joshua Adams Sims. He is a 37-year-old man with ties to Doe Run, Farmington, and Potosi. He was wanted for felony unlawful possession of a weapons charge.
Beginning Monday, June 23rd, the intersection at East Main Street and Flat River Drive will be closed to all traffic for necessary repairs and improvements. The project is expected to take about 4 to 6 weeks to complete.
And the Deloge Chamber of Commerce is excited to announce the Labor Day Parade 2025 Grand Marshal, Mrs. Pat Bockenkamp. She's been a resident of Deloge for 58 years, an admired business teacher at North County High School 30 years, Raiderette coach, business club sponsor, and proudly serves on the Deloge Public Library Board.
And that's a check of your local news right here on the Parkland Podcast. Subway, eat fresh. Your local Subway locations in Farmington, Park Hills, and Deloge, sponsoring the Parkland Podcast since the beginning. And Subway always has great things to eat. And Mark, you are the resident Subway expert here at the Parkland Podcast. You are always in tune with the deliciousness that awaits there.
Love the food. It is fresh, and the service really puts them over the edge. Heather, Brianna, Jessica, ladies, good morning, or I guess I could say good afternoon, because you can watch this podcast or listen to it at any time you want. But if you go to Subway in Farmington when those three girls are working, you can just mark it down as a red letter day, because not only will you get great food, you'll get served on by three girls who could give lessons on how to give great customer service. So Jake, Mike, you did well with those girls. Keep them around forever. They are awesome, and the food is fantastic. You're right.
Absolutely. The nachos, what do you think about the nachos? Have you had those yet?
Fantastic. Yeah. Everything about their food is great. The only thing, and it's not a complaint, but they don't serve their soups in the summer. That's a fall to spring thing. And those girls will be the first to tell you the broccoli cheddar soup is my favorite soup that they have. And I got to wait till September to get it again.
That's okay, though. It'll be coming soon.
It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it.
It'll totally be worth it. So there you go. Check out your local Subway stores. They're in the Maple Valley Center in Farmington.
Exciting news coming, too.
Oh, yeah. And
Can't
then, of
tell you
course,
what.
we probably can't. Well, no, we can't. We better not now.
Better
We're going to
not.
keep you waiting. Keep you waiting. Park Hills, they're still in downtown. The Park Hills Subway location you've known and loved for so many years. And then, of course, the Deloge Walmart Supercenter is where you find Subway in Deloge as well. Subway, eat fresh.
Parkland Pharmacy is out to prove that local independent pharmacy is alive and well. We work hard at giving you an excellent experience every time you come to see us. We love what we do, and we would love to take care of you. There's no need to be frustrated with your health care. If you're tired of what your pharmacy is not doing for you, then stop waiting in line and come see us today. We have 6 locations across Southeast Missouri, so Google us to find the store nearest you or visit parklandrx.com. Parkland Pharmacy is a local pharmacy at its finest.
Here are your events. They're powered by Discover Farmington more than you ever imagined. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com allows you to find out more about entertainment, dining, outdoor activities, wineries, and more.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
There's a great meal being served up this Wednesday at the Methodist Church in Farmington through Mom's Cafe.
Farmington Country Days, June 6th, 7th, and 8th. Carnival rides. 2 stages of free concerts. The Capias Heating and Cooling Saloon. The Nicholson Heating and Cooling Parade. The Jeep Show, Quilt Show, Cornhole Tournament, Firehouse Competition, and so much more. Will be on hand all weekend to tell you all about Farmington Country Days.
The Cherokee Art Exhibition is June 11th, starting at 4 o'clock at the Longhouse in Farmington.
Men's Health Day taking place June 13th from 8 to noon at the St. Francis County Health Center. Many free tests will be available with an optional PSA test for just $12.
The Missouri Mines Rock Swap, June 14th and 15th, 9 to 4 each day with guided interpretive tours of the mine trails and mine museum.
The Mark Griggs Memorial Kiwanis Golf Tournament is June 16th, 1 o'clock at Crown Point Golf Club in Farmington.
Movies in the Park, Long Park, Farmington, June 20th. See Turbo and get free popcorn and lemonade courtesy of First State Community Bank.
The Park Hills Summer Concert Series continues on June 20th with Audio Glow at the Amphitheater in Park Hills.
The 3rd Annual Summer Nights Art Festival, June 20th and 21st in downtown Farmington.
Farmington Water Park presents Summer Bash, June 24th, 11 to 6 p.m. Music, trivia, and pool games.
Love the downtown block parties they throw in Farmington. There's one coming up June 11th, starting at 7, featuring Mountain Mischief, a free concert put on by Discover Farmington.
A dive-in movie featuring the movie Jaws will take place July 19th at the Farmington Water Park, starting at 6:30.
Movies in the Park in Long Park, Farmington, July 24th. CET.
Chris Cagle will be at the St. Francis County Fair August 2nd as part of the 151st Annual St. Francis County Fair, and Bigfoot is coming to the St. Francis County Fair this year as well.
Nice. And Blues, Brews, and Barbecue, September 19th and 20th in downtown Farmington.
Those are your events. They are powered by Discover Farmington. Find out about local events, even book a wedding or day trip right now at DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com. Let's talk pharmacy. Parkland Pharmacy. They are at parklandrx.com. Small town pharmacy at their finest. They are so organized. They have so many great services. They're more than just a place to get your prescriptions, Mark Tody.
Absolutely. I got to give a shout out to Julie Berghaus. She called me the other day and she goes, "What's that stuff that you like so much?" I said, "The Emergency." And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm going to order some of that. You want me to get you some?" I said, "Absolutely." And she didn't have to do that, but that's the kind of great one-on-one customer service that they offer. They get to know their customers, what they like and who they are, and they will go the extra mile for them. So I love everything about that pharmacy, and that is why they are my hometown pharmacy.
Got to use two fingers if you want to scroll up or down.
I was looking at their Facebook page while you were doing that.
ParklandRx.com is the website. Their delivery is fantastic, and all the special services they offer as well is really what makes them second to none. Check out Parkland Pharmacy today, the official pharmacy of the Parkland Podcast. Save-A-Lot of the Lead Belt are there to help you with the rising cost of food. Your dollar goes so much further. And we've talked about this before. And too late. This has already happened by the time you see this podcast. But it could happen again. Pick 6 for $24.99 at Save-A-Lot.
Yeah, when you go to Save-A-Lot, the next time you go and you get your groceries, ask about how to sign up to get their mystery coupons.
Yes.
Trust me, there will
every Saturday.
Every Saturday there's going to be big bargains available to you. You don't want to miss out, and you're going to just love the way you treat it when you go. You're treated when you go to Save-A-Lot.
Save-A-Lot of the Lead Belts all over the area. They're in Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Farmington, Park Hills, and Potosi. Follow that Facebook page and make sure you're aware of all the special deals they have going on. They've had a lot of cool promotions lately. They're now working through Uber Eats and DoorDash if you want your groceries delivered to you. All available at your local Save-A-Lot store.
Love the Farmington location. That's where I go. So I want to send a shout out to Clint and his group for doing a great job of being our local hometown supermarket.
Absolutely. Save-A-Lot of the Lead Belts sponsoring the Parkland Podcast. These are your birthdays for the Parkland Podcast. They are for the week of June the 2nd. Let us know about your birthdays. Shoot us a message on our Facebook page, on our TikTok, on our Instagram, or email us. Or if you see us walking around Country Days, let us know again. Just let us know a good week or so in advance so that we can make sure that we wish the happies that you deserve. Who do you have for Monday, June the 2nd?
Happy birthday to the lovely and talented Allison Sprung, the pride and joy of St. Paul Lutheran Church. She hangs out with a group of girls that they have meetings called the book club meetings.
Okay.
Truth be told, they don't read books, but they do drink wine. So,
okay.
But I get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
'Cause, I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Allison or one of her buddies that said, we don't really read books. But they do drink wine. So happy birthday to you, Allison, from your boys and from all your friends at St. Paul Lutheran Church. Kevin Fowler, a guy I went to high school with, celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Kevin. And Roland Hubbard, one of the Hubbards.
Yeah, Roland.
Celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to you from the Hubbard clan.
I'm going to wish a happy birthday on Monday to Lisa Carty. Lisa does everything at St. Joseph Catholic School, and we write her checks usually pretty late for things all the time, and she never complains. Takes very good care of the Lowry children. Happy birthday, Lisa. I hope it's a great day for you. Eileen Miniachi celebrating a birthday on Monday. Happy birthday, Eileen. Janie Radford celebrates a birthday on Monday, too. Happy birthday, Janie. A guy that sure does know how to cook, Mr. Brandon Harden, with a birthday on Monday. Happy birthday to Brandon. And Kate Cotton celebrating a birthday on Monday. Happy birthday, Kate. Hope you have a great day. What about Tuesday, June the 3rd?
Tuesday, my nephew, Kyle Toady.
Kyle Toady
celebrates a birthday on Tuesday. He's a doctor, and he must be a pretty good one, because I came up to him not too long ago and I said, Kyle, it hurts when I do this. And he, of course, gave me the great doctor's advice. Don't do that. And you know what? It hasn't hurt since then.
Wow.
Happy birthday to you, Kyle. I've always heard this story, and I don't know if it's true or not. I heard that when he was in medical school, he was toying around with the idea of becoming a brain surgeon. But then he met his wife, the lovely Amanda, and they started having babies, and he decided maybe I better start paying bills. They ended up, I think they have 4 children. And they live over in Wildwood, and he's just an awesome guy.
Dr. Toady.
Yeah, Dr. Toady. Happy birthday to you, Kyle. Happy birthday wishes to Zach Pinkley, one of the Pinkley clan. I just saw him, in fact, Friday night. He was one of the group that was with us having dinner at the Pasta House. Zach, happy birthday to you from your wife and your son and from all of your family. Billy Benson, happy birthday to you, young lady. Hope you are doing good. Happy birthday wishes from your husband and from all of your family. Yvette Govro, happy birthday to you. Yvette, she used to work at J98 Radio for a while. Happy birthday to you from Paul and from your kids and now your grandbabies. I hope you're having a great day. And my buddy Charlie Giesing, celebrating a birthday on Tuesday. Charlie, happy birthday to you, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
I want to wish a happy birthday on Tuesday to Ryan Pirtle. Ryan was one of the best distance runners to ever come out of North County. Happy birthday, Ryan. Hope you have a great day. Jacqueline Moore celebrating a birthday on Tuesday as well. Happy birthday, Jacqueline. A guy that has been writing sports in the Parkland for 25 years, Matt King of the Daily Journal, celebrating a birthday on Tuesday. Happy birthday, Matt. Cindy Inman, not to be confused with Chad Inman. Cindy Inman celebrating a birthday on Tuesday. Happy birthday, Cindy. And Brandy Richardson, happy birthday to you, Brandy, from your husband and the boys. Hope it is a great day for you. What about Wednesday, June the 4th?
Oh, just one birthday for me, but it's a good one. Mindy Wyatt, happy birthday to you. I got to know her when she worked at the Farmington Civic Center. She was a front desk girl, or as I like to call them, my towel girl.
Towel girls.
Yeah. But anyway, happy birthday wishes to you, Mindy. That's from all of your family.
I want to wish a happy birthday to one of the guys I really miss working with, Mr. Corey Warner. He is the graphic arts teacher at the UniTec Career Center. And if you need something done graphic artily, he is the guy. He is so good. He's a way better teacher than I ever hoped I could be. And just an awesome fellow. Happy birthday, Corey, from Abby and all the family. Hope you have a great day and hope you continue to enjoy your fantastic summer. Emily Eaton celebrating a birthday on Wednesday. Emily works for the post office. I believe she has one of the Deloge routes. And Brad Glore, retired Central Band instructor, the golf pro out at Crown Point, I believe. He lives a good life. He gets up, he golfs, he plays the trumpet, and he goes to bed. Pretty good life. Not bad. Happy birthday, Brad. Hope you have a great day. How about Thursday, June the 5th?
Thursday, one of the biggest characters I've ever worked with, and you as well, our good buddy Scott Kabbalah.
Oh, what a character.
Celebrating a birthday, yeah.
What a character.
We could do a whole podcast on Scott Kabbalah.
We need to have him
stories.
on. That's the next thing we need to do. We need to have him on.
He's retired now, I believe, so I think he would be willing to do that. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Scott, happy birthday to you. Knowing him since 1983. Happy birthday wishes to Bob Monks.
Yeah.
You know Bob a lot better than I do. What instrument does he play?
Trumpet. He's another trumpet player.
Yeah.
We had a fight in 5th grade whenever he it was like the last day of school. His last day of school at Deloge. He was moving to Bonne Terre, and so we fought in the alley.
Who won?
Well, the teachers broke it up, so no punches were thrown.
Well, we can recreate that if we ever get Bob on the show.
He'll win this time. He's in a lot better shape than me.
Tim Shoppert, happy birthday wishes to you.
Big fan of the podcast.
Yeah, and he was the athletic director at St. Paul Lutheran School for several years.
Absolutely.
He's got all those boys, and they're all really good athletes.
Yeah, Logan just graduated. He was all-state in soccer and basketball. And, Tim listens every week.
Oh, awesome, Tim.
Yeah.
Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you are doing fantastic. Jolene Boyer, happy birthday wishes to you. She has twin girls. I hope you are doing fantastic. Happy birthday to Jordan LaChance. There was a time going back about 20 some odd years ago when I did a Friends of the Family program, and Jordan was my little boy that I hung out with for a couple of years, and we just kind of did things together. Jordan, happy birthday wishes to you. Happy birthday to Joyce Stam. When I lived on Old Fredericktown Road, she was my across-the-street neighbor. Hope you are doing good from your husband, Larry, and your kids. And Morgan Meinhardt, happy birthday to you. I used to see her at the Civic Center all the time. She's I think she's a school teacher now, and she's living in Florida and loving it. And
good
loving
for her,
it. So I don't think we'll get her back here.
Probably not.
Yeah, so happy birthday wishes to you, Morgan. Hope you're doing great.
I want to wish a happy birthday on Thursday to Karen Agnew. Karen, a proud Deloge resident. Happy birthday to her. Amy Nations celebrating a birthday on Thursday. And Tracy Williams, all the way from the state of Indiana, listens to the Parkland podcast every once in a while. Tracy, happy birthday to you. What about Friday, June the 6th? Who's celebrating a birthday on Friday?
Well, I got to say a special happy birthday to my mama. She was born in 1932. So, Mom, miss you, love you, and happy birthday to you. Happy birthday wishes also going out to our good buddy Steve Needy. Steve goes to St. Paul Lutheran Church. When I do Bible study on Thursday, he's always there, always has something to say. And when he doesn't have a haircut and he wears a bandana, he kind of looks like Willie Nelson.
Wow.
Steve, good man, good man. Happy birthday wishes to you. Chelsea House, happy birthday wishes to you. Chelsea, hope you are doing fantastic. And Michelle Ashburn, happy birthday wishes to you. She works for Edward Jones.
Yeah, does a great job.
Yeah, I think she works in John Brown's office. So happy birthday to you, Michelle. She was also on the Breast Friends Relay for Life team.
Yeah.
As well, back in the day as well. Happy birthday, Michelle.
Happy birthday, Michelle. Also want to wish a happy birthday to Andrea Kemper.
Yeah.
Andrea, a longtime employee of Mineral Area College. I think she's had every job but the president.
No, she hasn't been president
Yeah,
yet.
look out, Gilgore. She's coming up the ranks.
And she keeps her husband Gary out of trouble, too.
Yeah, that's probably a good job, too. Happy birthday, Andrea. And Chris Asher celebrating a birthday on Friday. Happy birthday, Chris. Hope it's a great day for you. What about Saturday, June the 7th?
Well, if I can read my writing, I've got a lot of birthdays here, including the mayor of Park Hills, Stacey Easter. Happy birthday wishes to you, young lady. Guest of the podcast on numerous occasions, and we hope to have you back on soon as well. Pastor Constein, the pastor at St. Paul Lutheran Church in Farmington, celebrates a birthday on Saturday. Pastor, happy birthday to you. He's getting ready to retire in a couple of months. Much too young to retire, but who are we to say?
Right.
Happy birthday wishes to you. He has a son that is celebrating a birthday next week. One of his daughters works at Pasta House. I give her a hard way to go every time I go in there to eat, and she's there. Happy birthday to Kenny Kohlmeyer, one of the 220,000 Kohlmeyers in St. Francis County. Hope you are having a great day. John Fitz, the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, boy.
From Precision Eye Care. Happy birthday wishes to you.
He was a great interview back in the day. He had a monthly show. Well, I think it was about every quarter he would come in and talk about something eye-related.
He used a lot of words I didn't know the meaning
I know, right?
Let's see. Justin Thompson, happy birthday to you from your wife and your kids. Tia Cunningham.
Tia Cunningham
has a birthday on Saturday. Tia, happy birthday wishes to you. Boy, her daughter is such a cutie. Oh,
Jaylene. I know.
Happy birthday wishes to you. Happy birthday wishes to, boy, I can't even read my writing. Morgan Johnson. Happy birthday to you. I couldn't tell if that was Marion or Morgan. Her dad was the editor of the Daily Journal for a bunch of years. So happy birthday wishes to you from your husband, all your kids, your mom and dad, and your brother, and Elizabeth Maxwell, who was a salesperson at J98 for a couple of years. Happy birthday wishes to you.
Outside of the birthdays you mentioned, I also want to wish a happy birthday on Saturday to Elizabeth Bloom. Happy birthday to you. Hope it's a great day. She works at the St. Francis Medical Center there in Farmington. Todd Mabry. Todd is the middle of the Mabry boys, and Todd doesn't live in the area, but he does come back a couple times a year. And when he does, he makes fun of me every time he sees me.
Good job, Todd.
Yeah, Todd's all right. Happy birthday, Todd. You are my favorite Mabry brother. And Hayden LaChance celebrating a birthday on Saturday as well. Happy birthday, Hayden. Hope things are going well for you. What do you have for Sunday, June the 8th?
Sunday birthdays include our good buddy, Brian Boyer.
Yes.
Happy birthday wishes to you. He's a good dude, and he gets involved in a lot of things.
He does. He and Paula, loving life. Brian's as good as gold, dude. No doubt about it.
And thank you for being a sponsor of the podcast as well. Happy birthday wishes going out to Alex Berghaus, the daughter of the lovely and talented Julie Berghaus. Happy birthday to you, Miss Alex. Enjoying life in Hawaii. Almost said Florida. Hawaii. Hope you're doing well. Stacy Williams. Happy birthday wishes to you. Longtime employee at the Farmington School District. I believe she's the director of transportation. Happy birthday to you, Stacy. Hope you're doing great. Clara Murray. Happy birthday to you from your mom and your dad. And Sarah Peak, happy birthday wishes to you. I've known her since she was just a little squirt. Now she's a big squirt.
Now she's got kids in high school and college now.
Yeah, she does, as a matter of fact. Happy birthday to you, Sarah. Hope you're doing well.
Gene Heights celebrated a birthday on Sunday. Happy birthday, Gene. Gene was the oldest of the Heights kids, and all girls after Gene. And he had to beat off a lot of guys because all of his sisters were very, very pretty. And so, yeah, Gene was always, like, nope, can't date him. He's a good big brother, and I'm sure he still is. Austin Sykes with a birthday on Sunday. Austin, the instrumental music director at Mineral Area College. Happy birthday to you. And Nate Barron, local comedian. Have you ever heard Nate Barron tell jokes?
I don't know if I have or not.
You know his dad, Walt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his sister.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Stephanie.
Yeah, Nate is a very good comedian, does a lot of shows in the St. Louis area and still does some around here, too. Happy birthday, Nate. Hope it's a great day for you. Those are your birthdays for the week of June the 2nd. Heimberger Construction, HeimbergerConstruction.com, 431-4387. Heimberger Construction has done some amazing work in not just the Parkland, but the region.
Yeah, they're all over the Midwest. They do high-quality work using the best materials. And best of all, you've got Jennifer Heimberger, who kind of headlines things and gears everything up. She'll sit with you. She'll find out what your plans are, what your wants are, what you're building toward, and she will get you the right products, the right building. So if you're adding on, if you're making a new addition, Heimberger Construction, they're the folks you want to see.
And they sell Butler buildings because they are the best metal building system on the market and the only building that has the pre-punched roof system and standard 360-degree roof seam for their standing seam roof. HeimbergerConstruction.com has all the examples locally of the great work that they have done, and the list just keeps growing and growing. If you need construction work done, you need to contact Heimberger Construction today since 1978. Again, learn more at HeimbergerConstruction.com.
Here's your latest sports on the Parkland podcast. We'll start with baseball. And the high school baseball season now over. 3 local teams would win district titles, but nobody would make it out of the sectional round. On Monday, Class 5 District 1 championship game saw Festus blank Farmington to end the night season. Then in Class 2 sectional round, Chaffee would blank Valley Catholic 3-0. Tuesday postseason, Class 3 sectional, West County loses a heartbreaker 3-2 in 10 innings to Valley Park. And a Class 4 sectional, another heartbreaking loss this time for the Fredericktown Black Cats. They're blanked 1-0 by Perryville. All-conference baseball team was announced in the large school division. From Central, it's Cale Dreyer, Jackson Jones, and Lucas Whitehead. From Farmington, Noah Brennan, Jack McDowell, Aiden Redmond, Cooper Tripp, and Ty Wampler. Fredericktown finds Braden Holman, Ryan Sowden, and Easton Wood. For North County, it's Tim Exton Jr., Zach Metter, and Kyle Strawn. For Potosi, Braden Blair and Landon Johnson. For St. Genevieve, Jeremiah Bird, Luke Ferrento, Ethan Otens, and Noah Willett. Small school, Arcadia Valley, Knox Beard and Evan Inman. For Bismarck, Lucas Dickey and Caleb Montgomery. From Kingston, Nathan Eichhorn and Aiden Pyle. From Valley Catholic, A.J. Bosler, Wyatt Fallert, Tyler Geck, Colin Henderson, Kellen Tucker, and Carter Viox. From Valley of Caledonia, Noah Maxwell and Aiden Sims. From West County, Jackson Campbell, Hudson Dunlap, Nolan Rawson, Noah Sansasi, Brody Simile, and Julian Tebow. The state track meet held over the weekend in Class 5. Farmington's Brett Dry finishes in the top 6 in 2 different events. He finishes 3rd in the long jump and 6th in the triple jump. Owen Barron of Farmington would place 5th in the state in pole vault, and Hazel Parrott would finish 8th in the high jump. In Class 4, all North County athletes here, Braden Schrum finishes in 2nd place in the high jump, Caleb Schrum in 6th place. Jackson Walker would finish 6th in the 300 intermediate hurdles, Brady Duncan 9th in the high jump, and Claire Scott 10th in the pole vault. And that's your sports on the Parkland Podcast.
It's the memories made during a weekend with the girls, a family adventure, or a Sunday stroll in historic downtown. At First State Community Bank, we have a strong passion for small business owners and the students and families who live, work, and play here. Our passion for them runs deep because this is our community too. First State Community Bank. Success starts here.
Let's talk Farmington Country Days and First State Community Bank. Joining us here at the barn, we have Kristen Benscoter from First State Community Bank. First off, thanks so much for joining us. And are you ready for Country Days?
Ready or not, here it comes.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
You can't have Country Days without First State Community Bank. You all have been such a huge part of Country Days since the inception, and it's a tradition, starting Friday and continuing through the weekend.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, we start Friday. Well, we start way before that. We put the float in. Everybody volunteers to put their time in. Friday, we start setting up bright and early. We have our annual hot dog stand we do every year from 11 to 2. Hot dogs are 50 cents, chips 50 cents, drinks 50 cents. You can get your whole lunch for $1.50. We've got kids games that will be set up. We try to do that every year. We have somebody come in and play live music, and we've got a tent with table and chairs. So we just try to get as many people to come in and just hang out and visit with us as we possibly can.
It really sets the stage for the whole weekend, doesn't it?
I personally think it does, but I might be a little biased. So.
And then Saturday, you have an event coming back this year that I remember broadcasting from many, many years ago that was always fun for little kids. In fact, probably some of the Diaper Derby participants have kids of their own by now, I would assume.
It is a possibility, yes. I don't remember the exact year it started. I do know that Kelly Legan, our head of HR, she's the one that started it years and years ago. So I have picked her brain and trying to make it as close as to what it was originally. So we've got 3 judges, and we'll do 5 babies at a time, as many heats as we need to do. And then at the end, we'll just have one big baby crawl off to see who can get first place.
The fun part about watching that is sometimes the babies will scoot right to their mamas. Sometimes they go backwards.
Yep,
sometimes they just don't move at all.
That's right. That's right. I'm very intrigued. It was probably 10 years ago I watched my niece and my husband's nephew do it together. So I'm very, very excited to see all the little kiddos come together for it this year.
By the way, you have young children now. Are
do.
They of the age where they can do this?
So my daughter's 2.5, so she's out.
She's aged out.
She's aged out.
Yes.
I have a almost 4-month-old. I could put him in for a little diaper decorating, but we'll try next year maybe. We'll see. Country Days is a busy time, so we'll just I'm hanging on.
I can't remember whose kid it was, but I know that one of my friend's kids was in it a few years back. And they actually stood up and started walking. And it was like their first steps they took were in the First State Community Bank Diaper Derby. They were not allowed to win, but they were all super proud of their kid for finally walking.
Right. Yeah, of course. And of course, that's when it's going to happen, is when you're trying to get them to just crawl, you know. Of course, yeah.
So, Kristen, I don't remember the exact year when First State Bank became First State Community Bank, but y'all certainly live up to the community part of First State Community Bank.
Yeah, we do our best. That's what makes us us.
And you're everywhere.
I am everywhere. Yes.
Where are some places that you go to, not just as part of Country Days, but representing the bank?
Well, I'm a chamber ambassador through the Farmington Regional Chamber. We're also an impact partner, so we sponsor a lot of their events. There's multiple ambassadors through First State for the chambers, so we're all pretty active between ribbon cuttings and chamber lunches, anything like that. But yeah, we make lots of donations and we sponsor all of the kids' sporting events and teams, and we help out with, prom and Project Grad, and really anything that comes our way, we try to do our best with sponsoring at some level that we can. So I feel that we are literally everywhere.
No doubt about that. So two big events, the hot dog stand, the diaper derby happening Friday and Saturday as part of Farmington Country Days 2025. There are several other events and several other, I guess, opportunities that are within the bank for customers to take advantage of. And I know one of them that has been around for many, many years is the Horizons Club. Kind of talk about what the Horizons Club does and how this is a really neat way for folks to kind of maybe meet new people.
Yeah, so our Horizons Club is for 55 and older. We offer quarterly events, so we do Medicare talks, we just had an estate planning seminar. We do fun stuff. We have bingo normally in the first quarter of the year. We'll do a big Horizons picnic in the fall. I think we're mostly known for our Horizons Christmas party. Ooh, so I've heard. Yeah. We take great pride in that. We love to get everybody dressed up, and just our staff comes and they are the waiters and waitresses for the night. And so it's really fun to get to serve them and just hang out and talk and hear what's going on.
You take trips too, don't you?
Yeah. They do trips. I think they just got back from Ireland, I believe, within the past week or so. So they go out of the country. They do some here. I know they went to Amish country in Iowa last month, I believe. So there's trips going on all the time. And we do day trips. We'll go to a Cardinals game. We'll do a Muni trip. We'll do things like that too, but we're always doing something.
What do you have to do to become a member of the Horizons Club?
You got to be old like me.
Besides that, hey, I'm not too far away from you, man. I am right on the cusp.
All you have to do is just come in, open a Horizons checking account, and you're automatically involved in everything.
Wow.
All the trips and everything like that are given to you at a discounted rate. Mm-hmm. So if you're wanting to go on trips, this might be a great opportunity to also save a little bit of money while you still get to go on that adventure.
Yeah.
We've been promoting on our podcast the movies in the park that they do. And I tell you what, there would be a lot less to eat and drink if it weren't for First State Community Bank.
Yeah. No, that's actually coming up, I believe, in June. No, it is June. Mm-hmm. We're having Turbo. We're sponsoring the Turbo Night. So I don't know if we've decided what we're going to hand out just yet, but I know it'll be great.
I'm going to talk about the stability of First State Community Bank. One thing, maybe more so than the other banks, and nothing against them or anything. I'm not being critical of them, but one thing I've noticed about First State Community Bank, it's like if you're there for life. I mean, Craig Sutherland, Matt Sebastian, Greg Allen, Andy Buchanan.
Yep.
Tanya's been there for a long time now. You've been there for how long?
This November, I'll be there for 11 years.
11 years.
And literally started when you were in high school.
Yes, that is correct.
You guys are a big family.
We are. It is obviously, I think, the best place to work. They really, truly care about their employees. And you get with your department or your team and you just mesh so well. It is a family, and it makes work so much fun. You don't dread going in. You don't dread anything at all. It is just, it's wonderful.
In fact, that's how I met Matt and Greg, and I forget who else was with them, but it was one of my first country days, and they were all down at Cousins. Let's just say they were getting in the.
They're playing
Country
horseshoe.
Day spirit.
Yeah.
They were in the spirit of Country Days.
Country Day spirit.
And of course, I joined them to help get into the spirit. But that's how I met the guys. And I've always been impressed from the get-go about how they support the community. And it's hard to believe that before you were born, Greg and Matt and some of the others were serving hot dogs out in front of the bank.
Well, who do you think grills these days? We make Matt and Craig and Dan Combs and Matt Sebastian. We make them all grill.
Yeah.
You know, they look forward to it. I feel like that's their one day of just getting out of the office and kind of shutting everything off and just being a part of the community that day. And they really do enjoy it. That
hot dog event, the hot dog stand, it's almost like a homecoming to me.
I agree. I do. We obviously do not do it to make money, if you can't tell, with everything being 50 cents. We've never raised the price on anything, and I don't think we plan to. We just do it because we love our community and we want to be involved, and we want to get everybody together and have a good time.
So we have the hot dog stand that starts, I believe, at 11 o'clock on Friday?
Yes, 11 to 2.
11 to 2. And then what time is the diaper derby on Saturday?
9 a.m.
Okay.
We will have open registration at the time of the event, too. So it's not too late to get in there and be a part of it. And we hope to see everybody there.
Do you have any tips or secrets, I guess, you can give us about the parade float for First State Community Bank?
We are very secretive about our
Yes.
floats.
I know you are.
We take great pride in those. We have a great team working on it this year. Our co-captains have made a wonderful vision, and our maintenance crew, who does all of our construction for it, I think they look forward to it too, because it's a little bit more fun than the normal maintenance work that they do. So I don't think I'm going to share just yet. We're gonna let it be a surprise.
Well, you'll be able to see it on our live stream on our Facebook page, and First State Community Bank is one of the amazing sponsors of that live stream as well. What are some other different services, different neat aspects that First State Community Bank offers up to their customers?
Well, as far as Country Days goes, we sponsor the main stage. Mm-hmm. We sponsor the 5K. We do the parade, obviously. We donated some prizes for goodie bags to the car show that's taking place. We also did all of the goodie bags for the kiddos that are in the Miss and Mr. pageant. So they are a little occupied on the float, and they may get some candy since they don't get to watch the parade to collect it like the rest of the kids. Aww. So we did that. And then we try to get as many of our employees down to that prayer breakfast as well on Friday morning to kick everything off.
Oh, trust me, there might be 20 people at the prayer breakfast, and then all of a sudden here comes First State Community Bank.
Now there's 120.
50 people.
Yes.
They come over that little hill there. It's like, wow, here comes the bank.
Yeah.
We try. Everybody loves to go to it, so we do what we can to get as many people to get there as we can. So after Country Days, we do also a lot of sponsoring and everything. We have an impact project that we do every year. We're given a budget for it. This year we are helping out the Good Shepherd. And so we are having a little gathering, and they're going to be getting some items, I believe cleaning items, but we do an impact project every year just to give back to our community and help those in need. We sponsor a good amount of teams through the Civic Center. Mm-hmm. So all the little kiddos, soccer, basketball, anything like that. Again, we're very, very active with the Farmington Chamber, Movies in the Park. Our Horizons Club is very active. We've sponsored the St. Francis County Rodeo. We've done the Veterans Night at the Sykeston Rodeo, Veterans Night at I-55 Raceway. We help out with Help the Hungry, the Living Well Project. We have a fundraiser coming up for our employees here at the end of June. We're raising money for a donation to the Alzheimer's Association. American Red Cross, Boy Scouts of America, American Heart Association. The list goes on.
United Way of St. Francis County.
The United Way, yes, can't forget them.
Yes.
We do what we can, and we try to make an impact everywhere we can.
And not just in Farmington. I'm old enough to remember when First State Community Bank was just Farmington. But
right.
You all have, I won't ask you for specific numbers.
Please, thank you.
You really are throughout the state of Missouri.
We are. We have grown significantly just since I started here. Mm-hmm. It really is neat to see just how big we can get.
I know I was in Warrensburg for a science fair, and I saw a First State Community Bank branch. And I was like, all right, man, if I need some cash.
Yeah, there you go.
If you want to get an idea of just how big First State Community Bank is, go to the Civic Center when they have their annual, employee.
Yes,
Christmas.
Our annual Christmas party.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
We get all our branches together one time a year, and it is a blast.
Do they still have the video contest?
We did it last year,
Yeah.
and it's definitely entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
I will
There's
give
been
them
some
that.
good ones.
There's been some really good ones, yeah.
And you all set up for that. You do a lot of the setup work yourselves, don't you?
Yes. I believe they have a committee, and they go throughout the week of and set everything up. They do an extraordinary job. They have DJs or somebody that's playing live music come in. Andres is always the one that caters, and the food is amazing. Yeah. But it's just really neat to see, you work with these people from other branches, and you never see them until this one night of the year, and it's really fun.
And of course, if you really want great job security at First State Community Bank, become a really good golfer too.
Apparently, yeah. I think I need to work on that just a little bit. Right. But yeah, we do a lot of golf tournaments. That is for sure.
Very good. Anything else going on with First State Community Bank these days we need to let people know about?
Well, back to the diaper derby. Matt Sebastian is one of our judges.
Mm-hmm. He's going to wear a diaper.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I could get him to do that.
I've known Matt for 30 years. I don't think I want to say. Oh, their support of cystic fibrosis. We can't leave the bank.
Yes.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yep,
yeah.
in the pub hike. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, cannot forget about that one. But Matt Sebastian is one of our judges this year. This is also his last year with us. He will be retiring at the end of this year. So we're making him do all of the fun stuff one last time before he goes.
This would be a good year for him to be in the diaper.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it would be.
Yes. So, yeah.
Very good. FSCB.com is the website. Member FDIC.
Don't forget about your insurance.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we also have First State Financial Management and First State Insurance Agency. We have both of those in Farmington, and there's other locations as well. You can find all locations of each business on our website.
Perfect.
Very good.
And they sponsor the podcast.
And
That's
we
right.
sponsor the podcast.
Absolutely. Kristen, thanks so much for coming in.
You've
been a ray of sunshine today.
Well, thank you.
You're very, very welcome. And we will see her all this week in Farmington for Farmington Country Days. First State Community Bank, member FDIC. Kristen Benscoter, our guest here on the Parkland Podcast. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com is the website that I go to every week when I figure out what events we need to publicize in the Parkland Podcast. It's also a great way to find out about day trips. You can even book a wedding on that thing. It's amazing what you can do at DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com. Mark, there's so much in Farmington and the Farmington area that people need to know about.
Yeah, it's not just Farmington when it comes to Discover Farmington, because they realize that what's good for the surrounding communities is good for everyone involved. So if you've got family coming in from out of town, take a look at Discover Farmington. Find a list of things you can do, whether it's to go to a winery, whether it's to go to one of the, 275 state parks we have within 30 miles of Farmington, or upcoming concerts and shows. Discover Farmington can get you hooked up.
Check them out today, DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com. Never too early to start thinking about blues, brews, and barbecue coming in September.
Going to be a great time.
Going to be awesome. We'll be there broadcasting from that event as well. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com, the website. Go there today. Save-A-Lot of the Lead Belt are there to help you with the rising cost of food. Your dollar goes so much further. And we've talked about this before, and too late. This has already happened by the time you see this podcast, but it could happen again. Pick 6 for $24.99 at Save-A-Lot.
Yeah, when you go to Save-A-Lot, the next time you go and you get your groceries, ask about how to sign up to get their mystery coupons.
Yes.
Trust me, there
will
will
every
be
Saturday.
Every Saturday there's going to be big bargains available to you. You don't want to miss out, and you're going to just love the way you treat it when you go. You're treated when you go to Save-A-Lot.
Save-A-Lot of the lead belts all over the area. There in Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Farmington, Park Hills, and Potosi. Follow that Facebook page and make sure you're aware of all the special deals they have going on. They've had a lot of cool promotions lately. They're now working through Uber Eats and DoorDash if you want your groceries delivered to you. All available at your local Save-A-Lot store.
Love the Farmington location. That's where I go. So I want to send a shout out to Clint and his group for doing a great job of being our local hometown supermarket.
Absolutely. Save-A-Lot of the lead belts sponsoring the Parkland Podcast. Back on the Parkland Podcast, and we are going to visit now with the retiring Jeff Cauley, at least for the next, 31 days?
31 days, I think, is what they're telling me, yeah.
Yeah, of the UniTec Career Center, and then you get to go do many, many other things, and we'll talk about those things in a little bit. But first off, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. What a great venue here. This is a great place.
Oh,
I didn't even know it was back here. A little hidden gym. Kind of like the Space Museum in Bonne Terre. You don't know it's there, and once you get inside, you're like, this place is awesome. Wow. So this is what this is. Great.
You had a long career in education, but you weren't always going to be a teacher. You started off, I guess, as following in your father's footsteps and getting into the law.
Yeah, a little bit. I remember, and I had this discussion with some students the other day that were doing an interview with me. My dad set me down, and he said, and my mom we never had those type of conversations. I was the first person in my family to go to college, and my dad was born at the start of the Depression, so. He went to work at an early age, so did my mom, and so I remember having that conversation about, he said, what do you think you want to study? Mm-hmm. And I said, originally I told him I'd like to be a psychiatrist. He didn't understand what that was. Our family did not address mental health issues. Yeah. And, his you're not crazy, it's all in your head. Don't worry about it. But I remember trying to explain to him what a psychiatrist did. And he was like, I'm not paying for that. So, and I said, well, I'll go to law school. And so I applied, got accepted. And after I'd done my undergraduate work, and then I worked, at the sheriff's department for a little bit, and it just wasn't for me. I'd done some substitute teaching and some coaching, and kind of felt like I really liked that. That was when you guys your group was in like 7th or 8th grade when I started,
right?
And felt like I had a really good handle dealing with students, and I really enjoyed it. And I realized I for the most part, didn't have to fight anybody. I didn't have to work any midnights or weekends or holidays. I didn't have people shooting at me. It was a pretty good gig, so got started and just never looked back. I've enjoyed it ever since.
So you've been in public schools, you've been at UniTec Career Center. What's the difference between the two?
I think I started out at Central. I started out substituting at North County and Central both, and then Central had a full-time school-based social worker position. I'd never had a social work class in my life, but they had a grant for it. They really needed someone to help with discipline and attendance, and so they used that grant to hire me, and I got in there, and it was an office, kind of a quasi-administrative role, and really had a great experience over there. I worked in kindergarten through 12th grade. At the time, I was the only one. We ended up hiring an additional person later, but that was great for me to be able to see those kindergartners all the way through the 12th graders, and to have that working relationship. One day I'd be at a K2 building, and the next day I might be at the high school for 4 or 5 hours. So and it was a lot of community involvement, a lot of dealing with parents, but it wasn't being in the classroom. And I noticed, I thought that I really wanted to be in the classroom, but I really thought I wanted to be an administrator. I wanted to jump right into it. And back then you had to teach 3 years before you could be an administrator. And so I took the job at North County in 2003, so I could get in the classroom and start paying into the PSRS retirement system, and so that I could get that classroom experience. And once I got in, I didn't want to get out. I really enjoyed being a classroom teacher, much more so than I thought. and had great experiences, had great kids over the years. And I still remember when I see a kid at Walmart or out and about, I say kids, these kids are 30, 40 years old now, but when I see them out, for the most part, I usually remember their name or their face or sometimes both. And I'm glad that I still have that capacity to do that. But I really enjoyed it. And then getting into administration, I've been at, I started out at Bonter Elementary when it was still Bonter Elementary. It was a K-4 building. There were 1,000 kids in that building that year. And we had 3 administrators. It was Cheryl Bowman was the lead principal, and myself and Katie Bachman were the assistant principals in that building. And then we did summer school there. And I went back to the high school to teach after that stint was over. That was just a part-time, they needed help that year because the following year they were going to a K-1-2 building, which would make it much smaller, and they could get by with 2 administrators. And then I did a year at the middle school as a middle school assistant principal.
That was probably the worst job, wasn't it?
I just started to say, Lucas Hunt is the middle school assistant principal. And I haven't told Lucas this because when I talk to those new administrators, I always tell them a couple things. If you throw, you go. You throw punches, you're out of school. Remember that. That's what I tell them. And I always say, if I have to get on the bus, somebody's getting off the bus. If it's bad enough, you have to call me out there. And I remember having that conversation early on with one of our transportation people, and they're like, "Well, what if the driver's wrong? Then the driver can get off.
Yeah,
we'll put another driver out there." But the other thing I would tell Lucas or any assistant principal, Jim Sherrill told me this. He said, "If you could do that job for 6 months, even there's no job in the nation you can't do.
Yeah,
if you could be a middle school assistant principal for 6 months." There's no job you can't do.
Is that because the kids are all going through their changes?
They're going through the changes. The boys aren't as bad as the girls. Boys get in a fight at that level. The next day, they're buddies. They're spending the night each other. The girls hate each other for life. Yeah. And not only do they hate each other, you can't be friends with the other one's friends. There's a carryover. So it was I don't want to say I didn't enjoy it. I did enjoy it. It was different. And I was over there with Brenda Medley, Brenda Hampton. And we had a great time together. We got along fabulously. That great. I was always a high school guy. I really felt like I was a high school guy. And so I had the opportunity to go back and teach. And when I went back in the classroom, I kind of found I got a second lease. It felt like, a lot of folks will come back after doing some admin stuff and they'll struggle or they don't like it. I loved it. And of course, I wanted to be at UniTec. That was the position that I'd kind of wanted to be in. And we had a long-time administrator there, and I knew he was going to retire soon, so I kind of kept biding my time. And we had an intermediate / Parkside assistant principal open up during that COVID year. And I took that knowing that would be an easy transition into the it's much easier to transfer someone in admin than it is to just step right into another admin role. And I remember moving over and Dr. Gregory and I having that conversation because we had a great relationship together there at Parkside, and I had a great relationship with Dr. Mattingly at intermediate, and he wanted me to, he kept trying to convince me, why don't you? I know this is good for you. Why don't you stay? And Chad Lynn had a great line. He said he kind of compared it to. He said, it's like the Eagles were the backing band for Linda Ronstadt.
Right.
At some point, Linda Ronstadt turned around and looked at Don Henley and said, "This guy's not staying back here long.
Yeah.
He's moving on to something else." And that was me. I was there, but it was a stepping stone for me to move on up to UniTec, and that's where I finished out. And I've just had a great career there, and I've had great people, including Mr. Lowry, that worked for me there at UniTec, and just had a tremendous staff.
In addition to your education, I know you have a very big fondness for trivia, and you were just talking about Brandon Gregory and Chad Lynn. Between the three of you, you've got the start of a pretty good trivia team there. You've got music and sports pretty well covered, don't you?
You could do pretty well with that group.
Yeah,
they would be okay. Now, I don't know how much of Brandon's music would be ever on any trivia.
That's true,
He has a musical playlist that I don't even know what some of that stuff is. There are bands whose names, number one, I can't pronounce, and
Right.
if I could, they shouldn't say them on the air that he listens to. So I don't know how much of that trivia would be in his wheelhouse.
Your time at UniTec, I know, very, very special to you because it's a different kind of student, isn't it?
It's a different kind of student. I was familiar with that student because when I came to North County, Ellen Shunks was one of the people that interviewed me, and Ellen really wanted me, I felt like, in the interview. I knew Ellen previously when she taught at the middle school. I knew how well respected she was among her students and her peers. So her opinion of me meant something to me. Ed Garrigan was assistant superintendent there. I'd had some classes with Dr. Garrigan. I knew he wanted me. And when they offered me the job, they said, you can have your choice. They were hiring 2 teachers that year. They said, you can take the gifted students, or you could take the Tech Com students, which were the students that weren't in the advanced English classes. And without hesitation, I said, I'll take the Tech Com kids because they were a hands-on learner. I knew that curriculum a little bit I knew I could make it to be more of what I wanted it to be. And, so glad I did that. So glad I took that group, because that was the same group of kids. I would have them, they would go straight to UniTec after first hour. Then the 5th hour kids that had PM UniTec, they would have me 5th hour, they would go straight to UniTec, after lunch. So I was already familiar with that student. What I wasn't familiar with, Mark, and that was a great question, was I wasn't familiar with the differences in the staff, because I'd always dealt with that academic staff member who'd had that 4 or 6 years of college training, and I go to UniTec and I've got a staff that, while those folks did not have that 4 to 6 years of college training, the bulk of them, they had so much knowledge in industry. And so you're going to have one or the other. You're going to have someone that has that education and they struggle connecting with kids, or they struggle with the material, or the vice versa at UniTec, where they've got the material down. They can do that. And we're just working with them to try to help them refine some teaching methods. And that was really much easier than I thought. And for the most part, those teachers were so receptive to doing that. They knew electronics, they knew construction. They wanted to be a better teacher of that. And that was what my role was. I remember when they interviewed me, I think Alex McCall asked a great question in the interview. He said, how are you going to walk into what do you know about nursing? And I said, no more than anyone else in this room. But I know what good teaching looks like. And I know when I go into a nursing health services classroom, I know if they're doing a good job teaching that material, even though I might not know that material. And I think that's what you have to look for at the Career Center. Jason's class was a great example. I would go in there, those kids were always busy doing something. They were doing things that I couldn't do with the computer. They were doing things in the love box back there that the
love box.
The love box, which we better explain what the love box was.
Yeah.
Dr. Love, Rob Love, built this recording studio, a small little studio, nicknamed it the Love Box. But those guys would get in there and they would dub things. And they could do things that I could not do. But I could tell by what they were doing and how they were doing it. Jason was doing a good job teaching that class, even though I didn't necessarily know the material. But we had when Jason was there, we had a great time in that class. We created, the hot seat. We created, we did a lot of Juicebox Jerry comedy videos that we did just as fun with Jerry Willett. We had a lot of fun with Jerry. But those were all fun to do. The kids enjoyed them, the staff enjoyed them, and we enjoyed doing them. So
you surround yourself with good people. That's what makes a good leader.
I think what makes a good leader, it's what makes a good coach. You surround yourself with good players. You surround yourself with good students as a teacher. Your job as a teacher is to, you get to pick the kids you have.
Right.
These are your kids. But you can make those kids respect you. And if you can get them to respect you and get them to like you a little bit, they'll break their back for you. And it's the same with faculty. It's the same with kids up at UniTec. They want to be led. They want a leader that's going to, be consistent and be fair. And for me, I think that's been easy for me to do. And I think it just leads to a lot of good synergy in your building.
What's the future hold for Jeff Cauley?
We were talking off camera, and I said, I've been healthy pretty much, knock on wood, my whole life. And then I turned my retirement in, kidney stones, So it's like, I haven't drank a soda since 2002. Poor guy gets kidney stones. But, so I had a lot of plans. And some of those are being put on hold, for this summer until we see what's going on. I'm not going to sit idle. I can tell you that. Yeah. I feel like I still got a lot to give. That being said, I don't think I necessarily want to work full time for a local company. I did have one place reach out to me. It was a private school and said, "Hey, we'd like for you to do this training for our administrators and teachers. It's going to be like 15 or 20 hours a week." I thought, that sounds perfect. And they called like 2 days later and said, "Well, no, we're not going to fund that. We'd really like you to, we've got this new campus. We'd really like you to come and operate this new campus." I said, "That sounds like a damn job." Yeah. I don't think I already have one of those,
Right.
Speaking of that, and I promised Mark I was going to tell this because my good friend Desi Mayberry worked with me at Central for years. Desi, when he retired, the guy retires, he's got his doctorate degree.
Right.
An administrator, got a great retirement.
Yeah, he retired young, too.
And he retired young.
Did.
He bought 3 years. And so he sat around for a little while, and he would call me. And I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, I'm watching that episode where Opie gets those 3 birds. And I said, "Oh, yeah, wink and blinking and nod, And he said, yeah, I watched it. It was on a couple days ago. Right. So I'm watching it again." And he would watch all the Andy Griffiths episodes, and then he was big on spreadsheets. He would make spreadsheets of when he was paying his bill, stuff he didn't have time to do before. But he finally decided he's going to get a job. So he goes down to Lowe's and he gets a job at Lowe's just working, stocking 2x4s, whatever.
Right.
They came by one day and they saw him working a scan tool and doing something. They said, "Hey, you know how to operate that scan tool?" He said, "Yeah." They said, "How would you like to be in our management program?" He said, "I wouldn't like that at all. I want to work a couple days a week.
Right.
And I want to come in and do this." And they said, "Okay." Well, then I guess someone got a hold of his resume. This guy's got a doctorate. He was an administrator. He said, "We'd like to put you in the management training program as like a district manager." He said, "Guys, I just want some time away from home, work a little bit."
Right.
And he told me, he said, "Jeff, I had to quit because they wouldn't just let me work. I just wanted to simply work a few hours a day, a couple days a week. I couldn't do it."
I understand that.
So I think and that's what I'm starting to see is I start looking around for things to do. I want to stay busy, but I don't want to. I don't want a 50-hour week job. I've had those, and I don't want to do those. I've got 2 little grandsons right now that are in the area. I've got other grandchildren, but I've got 2 in the area. Rogan, who's 2, and Jed is 4, and those guys take up a lot of our time, and I love that. I'd have them with me as much as I could. So I'm hoping that we can do more things. They like to camp and do a lot of the stuff that I like to do. So I'd like to spend some more time with them, and so we'll see what it's going to hold. I don't know just yet. I've got some irons in the fire, and we'll see how they play out. But
you got a really nice retirement gift from the UniTec Career Center, and specifically Corey Warner, the graphic arts teacher. And he sent me a couple of these baseball cards that he made. Every teacher, staff member that you worked at during the Jeff Cauley era of the UniTec Career Center had an old-timey baseball card made. That was something else,
It was fantastic. It was like a 20s-looking card that had been weathered. It looked like it was an old card. The cards were actually made out of a wood fiber. I don't know what the material was, but it felt like almost a wood. But anyway, he had made this large, and I'll get you a copy of that. You can post up or whatever.
Yeah.
But he'd made this large picture, and it had my picture in the upper left-hand corner. It said Jeff Cauley, director, and it had, like Jason said, every employee that worked for me during my time at UniTec and their position at UniTec, and they were all in an old 20s pinstripe style UniTec.
Here's me.
Yeah, there's Jason there. UniTec style shirt with a hat. And Corey's just a phenomenal, one of the hardest working teachers.
Yeah.
His kids are always on task. Jason's a big part of the reason why Corey was there. Jason called me at home in the summer and said, "I got a guy I want to recommend for the graphic arts." We'd already interviewed a couple people, and and he said, I want to recommend him. I think he'd do a great job. Do you remember that conversation?
Yeah, you said I can't remember how you phrased it, but you phrased something. Am I meeting him, or am I?
I said, are you introducing him to me?
Right.
Or are you vouching for him?
And I said,
because if you're
100%.
vouching for him, and he takes a crap, which is not what I said.
Yeah.
He takes a crap. It's on you.
Right.
If you're just introducing him, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I'll take it with a grain of salt. But if you're vouching for him, this falls on you. And he called me. You called me back, and you said, "Hey, I'm vouching for him." And I said, "Okay." And we interviewed him. Everybody liked him on the committee. He's done a phenomenal job for us. But he created that, and I've already had, I think, 4 previous former staff members reach out to me and say, "Can I get a copy of that? So I sent Corey a text and I said, let's find out what it costs to print these, because it was very nice paper.
Yeah.
And let's print these up for folks that want them. And so we'd like to have the print available if somebody wants it. But it was I never expected anything like that. It was one of the most thoughtful and greatest gifts I've ever received. It was just so nice to have it, and everybody signed it. And it was a really cool gift.
How big is it?
I'm going to say it's probably 30 inches by 16 or 18.
Wow.
It's a nice size.
And they're like traditional card sizes, right?
Yeah, they're the traditional cards, maybe a little smaller, but just really neat. And it's all framed. And of course, it's got the old UniTec building down there in the bottom, and he just did a great job with it. And of course, we have our dinner at the end of the year, and that's when they gave it to me. And we had Greg Nichols retiring as well, and Greg wanted to retire a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he did.
And I told Greg, called him in the office, and I said, "Hey, I hear you're talking about retiring." "Oh yeah, we're really putting a lot of thought in there." I said, "That's not happening. You're not retiring. You got to stay till I'm done, and then we'll go from there." Greg also had a young man in the mix that we knew was going to be a phenomenal person to fill his shoes, and Jacob Drennan. Jacob was there. I guess my first year as administrator, he was a student there, and I told Jason earlier, one of the things I'm going to hate about not coming back next year is I'm going to hate that Jacob doesn't get to work for me a year, because I would have liked to seen what he's capable of doing in that classroom. And we hired a new guy in construction, TJ Juliet. I think he's going to be a nice addition. We've just had some folks come in, and we got Nathan McDowell coming in electrical. So he's got a lot of experience, and I think we're just going to continue to grow and move forward.
I got a question for you. And so with the Mac Tech Center and with UniTec, there's been a lot of funding obviously thrown at the Mac Tech Center.
Yeah, we'll take any of it they want to give us.
I was about to say, you were very active too, like, hey, don't forget about us. We're still here too.
Right.
Do you think long term that there's enough students, enough funding, enough everything to support both of these two entities that for the most part do about the same thing?
Well, the biggest difference, Jason, is that Mac Tech is adult focused only. They are. The career centers are almost like a franchise,
right?
In the way that there are only 57 of those, and they say, or 54 of those, and they say, you have this area. I had a phone call the other day from a parent in Bloomsdale, and they really wanted to be in Greg Nichols robotics. They wanted their student to be in Greg Nichols robotics program. They go to the Perryville campus, and Dan Hecht is the director down there, and I know Dan really well, and I said, no, you can't do that. You're within their district. They said, well, they don't have robotics. And, Greg's got a national championship team in robotics, and kid wanted to be a part of it. So those areas are kind of protected. That's kind of where we fall with our high school students. I don't know what their enrollment with adult students looks like over there. But the high school portion is going to remain with UniTec, and we've always had an adult section. It's not as big as it used to be, probably in part because Mac does get some of those students, and I hope those students, and I hope Mac's successful down there in doing that. But yeah, when the funding first started coming out, I was at a chamber meeting, and Mike Henderson said, I was sitting at a table with Katie Bachman and some other folks from North County, and he said, hey, I got great news. Jeff, you're going to be really excited about this. Governor's going to release $5 million to put toward career tech, construction in our area. We never got a nickel of that.
Yeah.
Now, there were grants that came down the line later that we applied for. The problem was a grant is matching money. North County didn't have the money to match those funds, so we had to. When I say we, it was several of us. Lindsay Matthews was instrumental in it. Justin Marler, but Brian McNamara and I really got together, and Tony Myers and a lot of folks, and we started this foundation, and we started soliciting some, making a lot of speaking engagements, and in the past, I guess 4 years, we've raised about $400,000, $400,000, and we've been able to get grants to build that annex, and it would have been a whole lot easier if they would have came in and said, "Hey, here's $15 million."
Well, sure, yeah.
But we've just about got it done. We're going to have a ribbon cutting. I was hoping to get that done before I left. It'll probably be a little bit later because we want to get the landscaping and stuff done, and weather. Now we don't have students, so it pushed back a little bit. But we've got classes in the annex now, and it's freed up some other space in the building for other things. So, yeah, funding's always an issue with school districts.
Right.
You know, it always is. I don't care if you're a rich school district or a school district that's just barely keeping your head above water. Funding's always going to be an issue. But we were very blessed with the community that stepped up, and we had some golf tournaments and trivia tournaments. We did some things to help raise some money. But we had several really nice donors that stepped up, and I would mention them, but some of them didn't want to be mentioned.
Right.
They said, "Hey, we want to just anonymously give this money," and we appreciate that. And but it's been a good time at UniTec. There were times during that fundraising that it kind of bog you down. Yeah. There were times I felt like I want to just do admin work. A buddy of mine used to say, "Well, we're just going to have school today." I've never been that let's just have school guy.
Right.
Let's make this a little bit better place. If you're doing the same thing every day, you're not being successful. And I've always said, there's two kinds of teachers: ones that teach 30 years and one that teach 1 year 30 times. And I never wanted to be that person.
Right.
I just did the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
So we wanted to move UniTec forward. When I got up this morning, I started getting my clothes laid out for the day, and I picked up, and it was a Jason Lowry designed first UniTec shirt that we did with Corey.
Yeah.
And you came up with a slogan on the back for that shirt, and I think it was
something about it essential.
Yeah, essential training for essential careers.
That was it. Yeah.
And I saw that shirt, still had it there, and Corey has just developed so many things for us and for the community over the years. He's worked with Heritage Hall and with Chautauqua, helping those folks develop things. People come in, they'll say, "Hey, this is what we want," and he'll hand it to me. He's like, "Oh my gosh,
yes,
I don't want our name on this." And he'll redesign it, and they always come back, "Oh, this is so much better." Jason will vouch for me. We were in Springfield. We went to this place to eat. We sat down, and Corey says, I don't think I want to eat here." What do you mean you don't want to eat here? We haven't even tasted the food yet. He said, look at this menu. Look at this menu. Who designed this menu? This menu is poorly designed. And if they didn't put any more effort in this menu, what kind of effort are they going to put into the food?
Yeah.
So the next day we went to one of our favorite places, is Papo's Pizza.
Oh man.
So we go to Papo's down in Springfield.
Oh.
And their menu is a real basic menu. And Corey didn't say anything about the menu because we already knew what we were going to order. Jason and I had been there before, so we ordered the food. And I told Corey later, I said, "So what do you think about this menu?" He goes, "I didn't even look at the menu. You got pizza and cookies that taste like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the menu looks like."
Oh man, they're amazing too. Fantastic stuff. We talked about it. Anything else that you would be interested in? I know people have reached out to you about entering politics. Would you be interested in that?
I don't know.
You never say never, do you?
I'd never say never. It's been discussed for the last 10 years. I hear about it. They'll call from time to time. Different groups will call from time to time. I think that my kind of politics, without getting into politics, I think that my kind of politics is what we need. That being a more centered approach. Right. Instead of saying, "Hey, I'm way over here, I'm way over there." I think that common sense centered approach that, look, while I don't get along with you on this subject at all, we can find some common ground and make something work and meet in the middle. And while I might be way over here on this one, I understand that's not going to work either. So let's find some common ground. I think that's really needed, but I don't know that it's electable.
Yeah.
I don't know that someone, because we've really divided right now, not just as a country, even as a county. We're so divided to where it's either, hey, I'm way over here and I'm going to support this regardless of what happens. Mm-hmm. This is my person. This is my guy. Or I'm way over here, and regardless of what happens with this, I'm not going to support it. I'll support anything by anybody if it's right and if it works. Mm-hmm. You know, I made that comment to someone the other day that was complaining about leadership, and they're like, "Well, you can't tell me that you like this guy." And I said, "No, but I'm rooting for him."
All right.
You know, my livelihood depends on how we function and flourish as a nation. I hope he does well. You know, I get on the plane, I might not like the pilot at all. I hope the damn guy does a good job flying the plane. You know, I think that's the attitude you have to take. But I don't know that, Jason, I don't know that that's electable. So I don't know. And I'm not that guy to say, hey, I'm always going to support this. I'm always going to support that, because I think, like you said, there's got to be some middle ground, and we need a lot more people like that. And I'm not saying they're not out there. Mm-hmm. I just don't know that we can elect them.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very, very cool stuff. Anything else you want to throw out there before we let you go? I know you always have some good stories. You have some, and I people have always said, oh, I've heard that story 3 times. I go, yeah, and you hear it every time. It's exactly the same. Your stories, you know.
Well, it's because they're not. It's easy to remember. My dad always told me it's easy to remember something when it's the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when it starts getting convoluted, and is there a particular story you want me to tell, or is there?
Oh, I don't care. One that you like, and
I'll tell you what, because he might be watching, because he's a huge sports guy. I'm going to tell the Slugger story.
Okay.
I don't know if have you heard the Slugger story?
Like Slugger Garibaldi?
Slugger Garibaldi.
Okay.
Slugger moved to us. He was in my class. He moved to us when we were in the 8th grade.
Okay.
So we'd already had Mr. Batterton for a year. Mr. Batterton was a tough old guy. It was his last year teaching. I don't know, I would say he's 5'2". He was always suntan, 5'3" maybe. Yeah. And he was put together. I mean, the guy was like a bronze Adonis at 5'2" and 60-something years old. He was all muscular, completely gray-headed, and he scared the crap out of everybody. And you guys, you didn't have him, but you've heard the stories of the ping pong paddle in the shower. Uh-huh. Everyone took a shower. Everyone lathered up with soap. Yeah. If you weren't showering, you weren't lathering up with soap. He stood there with that ping pong paddle, and he would just let you have it pretty good. And he would take one student out of each class, the class of 82, 83, whatever your year was, and he would let that student, someone he liked, he would let that student have PE every day. So I had PE every day as a 7th grader and as an 8th grader.
Wow.
So
no choir for you.
No choir for me. I loved it. And Slugger moves in. It's the first day of 8th grade. We all know Mr. Batterton. We know don't push his buttons. Uh-oh. And he had this gravelly voice. It was just great, like Burt Lancaster if he was choking on a chicken bone. That's what it sounded like. Or a Sam Elliott, But anyway, Slugger gets there and he takes the roll, and he gets to it's all alphabetical, and it's done on a clipboard and a pencil.
Right.
And he's going down the list, and Williams, Yates, Ruck, Yates. Is there anybody I didn't call? And you see this little scrawny guy raise his hand really slow, and he's like, "Here, sir." And he's like, "Okay, what's your name, boy?" He says, "Slugger, sir." And he takes the pencil and the tablet, he just throws it on the ground. And he goes, "What'd you say?" And he said, "Slugger, sir." And he goes, "Let me tell you something, boy. I've been doing this for 35 years. I've been in a near plane crash in the war. I've been stabbed. I've been shot. I've been in 14 different countries. Been all over the world. Survived a near plane crash and shark attack. And in all my travels, I've never met 2 parents stupid enough to name their kid Slugger. So I'm going to ask you one more time. And when I do, you're going to give me your God-given name. And he reaches down, he picks up the clipboard and the pencil, and he goes, now, what is your full name? And he says, Destry Allen Garibaldi, sir. And Batterton says, damn it, boys, we're going to call this one Slugger. And every time I'm with Rodney Whittier, I don't care who's around, I have to tell that story again. You know, Rodney will say, please tell this story. And you're right, it doesn't change. You know, it's and someone went to Slugger one time. I think he works at SISM, right?
Yeah.
Went to Slugger one time and they said, hey, I know one of your buddies from middle, junior high, and high school. And he says, let me guess, you've heard the Slugger story. And they said, oh yeah, we've heard the story. So it's been told not just by me, but by anyone who was in that class, because we all got such a kick out of it. But you know, the last thing I'd like to say is Jason and I know you've emceed, Mark, some trivia events. Jason and I have both emceed before. I don't do much anymore. I kind of throw what I get to Jason, and if you're doing any, and
I tell him I'm sorry, I got too many irons.
Too busy. Yeah. But Jason and I played a long time. We played together quite a bit, especially at the sports. But we lost a good friend in Scott Yates here a 3 weeks ago. Maybe the best sports trivia player that we'd ever.
Oh yeah,
would you say?
Hands down, no doubt.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Dan Flair, who I played with at the World Series baseball trivia in St. Louis, who's a friend of Scott's, was as good.
Wow.
But I don't know that he was any better. He passed away young too. But you know, when Scott passed away here a couple weeks ago, I started going through pictures, and I found a bunch of those pictures from us when we'd won a couple of the times at MAC when they had their sports thing. And you know, you don't expect when you guys are in your 50s. I remember being in the hospital there with his mom and them asking us, do you know if he has a living will, what his wishes are? You don't think about that stuff when you're 45, 50, 55 years old. It just doesn't cross your mind.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get forced to deal with that. And that's been a tough thing to deal with lately. And, you know, you asked about what my plans were. We had plans, Jason, my nephew Jason and I, and Scott, we were going to go in October to Cooperstown. They've both been. I haven't been.
Man. Yeah.
So we had a lot of plans, and you know, him passing away wasn't one of them.
Right.
And so that's left a big hole. It's you know, something I'm still having to process and deal with. But you know, if you got somebody that's important to you, be sure and let them know, because you don't know what tomorrow's going to hold. You know, it's just so. That's something I wanted to mention, because it's affected the way I'm going to look at my retirement moving forward. You know,
sure, yeah.
A lot of things that we were going to do together, you know, those things are off the table now, or they're going to be rearranged. They're not going to be the same. Let me say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Well, great to see you, and enjoy this final 30 some odd, however many days you have left.
Yeah, it's going to be different. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll probably be on the podcast in a few months telling us about a new Jeff Cauley adventure.
Yeah, it might be. You know, I've got some places I want to go and some places I want to see. I was supposed to be in Belize last month. I was supposed to be coming back from Belize today.
Huh.
But I got, you know, the kidney stones just got the best of me. I did not want to wake up in a Belize hospital.
Right.
Although, I will say this. Several years ago, we were in Mexico, and my wife injured a band in her hip. And they said, oh, you're going to have to go to the hospital. And it was like 30 miles to Cancun. We were out in the jungle. They took us in, and it was a Sunday. And they said, oh, we're going to have to do x-rays. We're going to do an MRI. We're going to have to call in the specialist. We're going to have to call in the orthopedic surgeon. We're going to have to call in the radiologist. All these people are going to have to call in. The guy's like, I mean, it's going to be expensive, and we don't take your insurance.
Right.
We don't take credit cards. I said, oh, my gosh, how much is this going to be? And they said, it could be about $800. I said, we got that. Go ahead. So they did all this. She got phenomenal care in that hospital.
For $800.
Well, no.
Oh.
I thought it was the bait and switch. The guy came to me later and he goes, oh, I'm sorry. It was a little more than $800. I'm thinking, okay, here we go. Now it's going to tell me it's $8,000. It was $834. I got that. We got you covered. And, you know, my son was sick one time. I want to say it was in Brazil. And he was hospitalized for like 3 days. Got some type of a virus over there. And I thought, it's going to be crazy expensive. That wherever he was, they had free health care. Even though he was an assistant, it cost him nothing.
Huh. Wow.
So, you know, that's the kind of stuff we get into politics. We've got to fix.
Yeah.
I went the other day, just for this, and they said, are you prepared to pay this today? I don't know. How much is it? $5,800. It's like, well, if you'd have told me before I came up here, I could have had a little bit better preparation, but you might as well punch me in the face and tell me $5,800. So there's no reason that, one day at the hospital should cost you $5,800.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see you.
Great to see you guys.
Man.
Thanks for inviting me, calling me out. And, we're going to do it yesterday. Jason was sick, I think, so I was able to work it out today, but I'm glad to be here. Glad you guys have me. It's always good to visit with you, Mark. I don't get to see you much.
Not much, but that's okay. It's always good to see you too, buddy.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. Jeff Cauley joining us here on the Parkland Podcast.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
Heimberger Construction, HeimbergerConstruction.com, 431-4387. Heimberger Construction has done some amazing work in not just the Parkland, but the region.
Yeah, they're all over the Midwest. They do high-quality work using the best materials. And best of all, you've got Jennifer Heimberger, who kind of headlines things and gears everything up. She'll sit with you. She'll find out what your plans are, what your wants are, what you're building toward, and she will get you the right products, the right building. So if you're adding on, if you're making a new addition, Heimberger Construction, they're the folks you want to see.
And they sell Butler buildings because they are the best metal building system on the market and the only building that has the pre-punched roof system and standard 360-degree roof seam for their standing seam roof. HeimbergerConstruction.com has all the examples locally of the great work that they have done, and the list just keeps growing and growing. If you need construction work done, you need to contact Heimberger Construction today since 1978. Again, learn more at HeimbergerConstruction.com. Music time on the Parkland Podcast. We talk about bands and artists we like. We show you cool album covers, and then we talk about something else music related that changes every week. Mark Toady, do you have a song of the week for us this week?
It's a Bob Seger song. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. Love his live album, by the way. And probably my favorite song from there would probably either be Turn the Page or Get Out of Denver. The live version of that is fantastic.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Traveling Man, Beautiful Loser.
That's another great one.
That's
my
fave.
One of the best albums, live albums ever. But the song I actually chose is because I've got Spotify now.
Yes.
And I got the free version, and I'm loading up a whole bunch of songs, and I'm loading up some Bob Seger songs right now. And I was listening to Main Street on the way over here. I love that song. Wasn't a huge hit, but man, it's one everybody knows. It's number one in Canada, Hey. And a big hit, one of a billion. Bob Seger just turned 80 years old. I don't see how that's possible.
Wow. Happy birthday, Bob Seger.
Yeah, it was not too long ago. He turned 80 years old, but I'll go with Main Street, although I probably should have gone Get Out of Denver live version because I like that song better.
What do you have for an album?
For an album, I went with the Rolling Stones and Let It Bleed because it has my favorite Rolling Stones song of all time on it. You can't always get what you want, which is just a great, great song. It's also got the classic Gimme Shelter on it. And another one of my all-time favorite Stones songs, Midnight Rambler. The live version of Midnight Rambler is amazing if you've never heard it. But this is a great, great album. The Rolling Stones, one of their all-time classics, Let It Bleed.
There you go. All right, for my song of the week, I'm going to give you a tune from Robert Palmer, A Bad Case of Loving You. Doctor, give me the news. I need to see a doctor. I do not feel well. That's always a big hit for Robert Palmer. What was the one he did, though, where he had the girls that with the painted faces, and they held instruments, but they didn't actually play them.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one,
Yeah.
Robert Palmer?
I remember.
Simply Irresistible, was that it?
That could be.
Simply Irresistible.
See, I remember him as a solo artist before that, and he did a song called Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley.
Yeah.
Great tune. But Bad Case of Lovin' You is a good one, too.
That is originally written by Moon Martin, and Robert Palmer had a big hit out with that song in 1979. Wow, didn't realize it was that far gone. Then for albums, let's see, you loaned me this awesome Jackson Browne album, For Every Man. This one has the song Take It Easy, right? Take It Easy.
Co-wrote that with the Eagles.
Wow, did not know that. Very good. Colors of the Sun, These Days, Redneck Friend.
Great tune.
Ready or Not, Sing My Songs to Me, and For Every Man. Jackson Browne, one of the underrated, I think, stars of the 70s.
He lived
and 80s.
with Daryl Hannah in her prime.
Oh,
Say
really?
no more.
Oh,
Say
wow.
no more.
Man, way to go, Jackson Browne. Good
Yeah.
job, dude. So there you go. That's my album of the week, Jackson Browne, For Every Man. Okay, what are we doing for our prompt this week for music?
Well, instead of just doing a prompt, I thought something I've heard them do in on progressive rock stations.
Yeah?
I'm going to give you some lyrics to a song. You're going to tell me the name of the song. All right, I got
ready.
two this
That's
week.
you. Okay.
Seesaw swinging with the boys in the school and your feet flying up in the air.
It's awful dirty, Mark. I don't know if you want to start with this one.
Singing Hey Diddle Diddle with your kitty in the middle of the swing like you didn't care.
You took a big chance at the high school dance with the missus who was ready to play.
With a missy, yes. And who is it?
That would be Aerosmith and Walk This Way.
Yeah. I didn't make these too hard
Okay,
today.
good.
All right. And our next one, I'll move myself and my family aside if we happen to be left half alive. I'll get all my papers and smile at the sky, for I know that the hypnotized never lie.
That would be The Who, and that would be, dadgummit. We won't get fooled again.
Very good.
Had to sing it a little bit in my mind.
Very
to get that
good.
figured out. Cool, I like that. That's fun.
Yes, I'll have a couple more next week.
And I did way better at that than I did at the trivia, with the trivia at the top
Country
of the
Days
show.
trivia. Yeah,
Country Days
you
trivia
pretty
was
much
hard.
talk it, yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Do we know who we have coming up on a future episode, the Country Days episode of the Parkland podcast?
It'll be a potpourri. We're just going to do what
it's
we
gonna
did
smell
with
good.
Help the Hungry, and we'll just grab who's ever there.
So we should have a lot of interviews. It's what's Suzanne doing? She's really good at like hanging out and filling in too, if need be.
If need be, I'll text her
Okay.
and see if she can be
See
there.
if she can hang out there. We'll be broadcasting from the Hornet's Nest right there at the entrance to Country Days. I know we're going to talk to Katie Goodson. She's one of the organizers of the Hornet's Nest. I told her we would have her on. We'll probably just have her on Facebook Live, though, as opposed to the podcast, because everything she talks about will be already have happened by then.
Maybe we can get a kebab from her.
Well, I know we
Hit
can
her
do
up
that.
for a kebab.
Absolutely. Oh, and they're also going to have the Filipino food there as well. So lupas.
And maybe we
Lupas.
can get somebody from the church
Mm-hmm.
to kind of give us a sneak preview of the upcoming St. Joe picnic,
Oh, yeah.
which is in June as well.
Yeah, I believe June 20th and 21st is when
I think it's
that happens.
later
Or is it
than
20. Is it?
I think
Okay.
it's the last weekend in June.
Okay.
Not that I go every single year.
We'll get
but-
clarification whenever we do our podcast. So that's all coming up. Country Days 2025. Have a great week. We'll see you in Farmington.